There is a very specific kind of tiredness you carry. Not the tiredness that sleep can fix, but the tiredness of constantly making yourself smaller so nobody feels uncomfortable around you. You know this feeling. You walk into a room and immediately adjust your volume, your posture, your energy almost, as if you're afraid of taking up air that wasn't granted to you. You say sorry before asking a question. You say sorry when someone bumps into you. You apologize for speaking, for needing, for interrupting, for existing in a space that you somehow feel was never meant for you. And what's strange, what's tragic, is that you don't consciously decide to apologize. It slips out, automatic, reflexive, like flinching when something sharp moves toward your face, because somewhere along the way, you learned that the safest way to be alive was to be barely there. You learned that the less you needed, the less you asked, the less you disturbed anyone, the safer you were from rejection, anger, abandonment, or disappointment. This is your core paradox, the very behavior that once protected you. Softening, self-erasing is the same behavior that now isolates you, disconnects you, and sabotages your adult relationships. You apologize for existing because existence, for you, was not neutral. Existence came with consequences. Consequences you survived by becoming light, quiet, weightless. You became the child who tried to cause no waves. You became the teenager who swallowed every complaint. You became the adult who can't stop apologizing for standing where you stand, wanting what you want, and feeling what you feel. But here's the thing you've likely never heard. You didn't become this way because you're weak. You became this way because you're adaptive, brilliantly adaptive, painfully adaptive, tragically adaptive. You learn to read emotional weather systems with the precision of a meteorologist, predicting storms before they hit, adjusting your temperature to accommodate others, apologizing as a way to soothe the tension before it formed. And now, you're exhausted, not from living, but from living in a way that makes you feel like you shouldn't. Today, we're going to break this down, not to blame you, not to fix you, but to help you understand the architecture of this pattern, where it came from, how it formed, and how you can finally unlearn the belief that you need to apologize for being human, because you don't, and deep down, some part of you is ready to stop saying sorry and start saying, here I am. Let's define this archetype clearly. People who apologize for existing are individuals who learned, usually very early in life, that their needs, emotions, and presence created inconvenience or even danger for the adults around them. Psychology has a name for this kind of conditioning. 1. Hypervigilance, a state where your nervous system becomes permanently tuned to detect subtle shifts in tone, body language, or emotional temperature. If someone sighs, you assume it's your fault. If someone is quiet, you assume you upset them. If someone looks stressed, you soften yourself further. Hypervigilance trains you to over-apologize, because on a neurological level, your brain is associated being in the way with threat, and this leads to the second concept. 2. Fawn responsive, heard of fight, flight, and freeze. But there's a fourth trauma response rarely discussed. Fawning is when you try to create safety by appeasing someone, by being overly agreeable, overly accommodating, overly apologetic. Fawning sounds like, I'm sorry, is this okay? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. I'm sorry. Forget I said anything. I'm sorry. I can handle it. I'm sorry. Apologizing becomes your shield. And then there's the deeper structural component, perhaps the most important. 3. Parentification occurs when a child becomes emotionally responsible for regulating the feelings or behavior of adults. If you grew up managing your parents' moods, if you learned to anticipate their disappointment, if you had to suppress your own needs so they didn't react, your brain wired itself around the idea that you must make yourself minimal to keep others stable. This is not something you chose. This is something your nervous system encoded. It becomes part of your default mode network, brain's resting state system responsible for self-perception, identity, and internal narratives. For people who over-apologize, the default mode network carries a whispering belief. Your presence is an inconvenience, so diminish yourself. This belief becomes your blueprint. You walk through life not as an equal participant, but as someone tiptoeing through a museum where everything is fragile and loud. Noises are forbidden. Your nervous system is not malfunctioning, overfunctioning, overtrained, overconditioned, oversensitized to the potential of causing conflict or disappointment. So you apologize, not because you're wrong, but because you feel responsible for preventing emotional disruption in your environment. This psychological architecture sets the stage for the deeper emotional cost, the cost you've carried, like a secret weight. Let's go there now. There is a specific kind of grief inside people who apologize for existing. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's not visible. It's the grief of never having felt like you were allowed to be fully human. The grief of constantly editing yourself, filtering yourself, restraining yourself. The grief of never having been safely messy, safely emotional, safely imperfect. This grief is invisible because you've normalized it. You've carried it for so long that it feels like part of your personality. But let's name what it actually is. It's the grief of never having belonged without earning it. You learned to earn safety, earn love, earn space, earn softness, and people who have to earn their right to exist learn to apologize for taking up any room at all. This pain is old, ancient, even. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once said, "We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people." For you, the fraction might be even higher. You've forfeited your voice, your needs, your boundaries, your impulses, your fullness simply to be acceptable, safe, non-disruptive. The deeper fear behind this archetype is profound. The fear that if you stop apologizing, people will see the real you and leave. You fear that if you stop apologizing, you'll seem selfish. If you stop apologizing, conflict will erupt. If you stop apologizing, someone will become angry. If you stop apologizing, you'll be judged. If you stop apologizing, you'll finally have to confront what it feels like to take up space. For you, wanting something feels dangerous. For you, being disappointed feels disloyal. For you, asking for help feels like lifting a boulder and dropping it in someone's lap. This is the emotional cost. To protect others from discomfort, you abandon yourself. You sacrifice authenticity for belonging. You sacrifice needs for harmony. You sacrifice self-worth for the illusion of safety. But here's the truth. You've never been told. You're not apologizing for actions. You're apologizing for your existence. And that is too heavy a burden for any nervous system, any heart, any spirit to carry forever. So let's explore how all of this manifests in your adult life, because it does, in ways you might not even realize. When you grow up apologizing for existing, it doesn't stay contained in childhood. It leaks into every domain of adult life: relationships, work, communication, self-worth, decision-making. Let's map it out clearly. 1. Relationships. You attract takers, or emotionally unavailable partners. You might find yourself gravitating toward people who take advantage of your softness, expect you to carry emotional responsibility, reward you only when you're convenient, become distant when you ask for anything real. Why? Because your nervous system is calibrated to tolerate emotional inequality. You minimize yourself so they don't have to adjust anything to difficulty. Setting boundaries, you say yes to things you don't want. You allow behaviors that hurt you. You tolerate disrespect, dismissal, or inconsistency. Why? Because no feels like violence to your system. After all, you learned that your needs are disruptive. 3. Over-explaining everything, you might catch yourself writing paragraphs to justify simple requests. I'm so sorry. I know you're busy, and this probably isn't a big deal, but I just wanted to ask if it's not too much trouble. You spend more energy softening the request than actually making it. Point 4. Emotional suppression. You might become someone who doesn't cry around others, doesn't express frustration, doesn't ask for help, doesn't reveal when you're hurt because vulnerability feels like burdening others. 5. Career self-limitation at work. You don't apply for opportunities, don't negotiate, don't speak up in meetings, undervalue your contributions, accept unfair workloads. You don't want to be a problem, so you become the one who picks up everyone else's slack. 6. Internalized self-silencing. You might not even notice this one, but it's the most pervasive. You censor your desires before they're fully formed. Instead of asking yourself, what do I want? Your brain learned to ask, what would be least inconvenient for others? This is not your personality. These are not your traits. These are coping strategies, adaptive mechanisms, patterns you learned to survive emotional environments that could not hold your fullness. Now comes the unlearning. The unlearning begins with witnessing the moment you say, I apologize because I'm afraid, not because I'm wrong. You begin to reclaim your voice. The moment you say, this is a pattern, not my identity, you begin to separate who you are from what you learned. Unlearning does not start with confidence. It starts with recognition. Let's walk through the path forward. Healing begins with one radical truth. You were never meant to apologize for existing. You were meant to exist freely. And although it feels impossible now, it is not beyond reach. Not for you. Here's how people begin to unlearn the apology reflex. 1. Inner child reparenting. This is not some soft, whimsical idea. It's the neurological process of providing your younger self with the validation and emotional safety they were denied. You say to the child inside you, you don't have to be small anymore. You get to have needs. You get to take up space. 2. Interrupting the apology reflex. At first, it feels jarring, unnatural, like going against gravity. But when you catch yourself saying, sorry, for no reason, pause, breathe, replace it with, thank you for your patience. I appreciate your time, or simply silence. This rewires your default mode. Network over time. Point 3. Shadow work. Shadow work allows you to explore the parts of you that were rejected or punished. Your assertiveness, your needs, your voice, your anger, your boundaries. These parts were exiled. Now they need reintegration. Jung famously said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your apologies are not your fate. They are your unconscious programming. 4. Choosing softness for yourself. Not softness as in passivity. Softness as in gentleness, compassion, and self-permission. You have offered softness to everyone but yourself. The healing begins the day you redirect even a fraction of that tenderness inward. 5. Slowly taking up space. This is the hardest part. Speaking without apologizing, feeling without explaining, saying no without guilt, having needs without shame, being human without shrinking. This is not arrogance. This is homecoming. This is the return to a self that has waited decades for your permission. You are not too much. You never were. You were simply raised in environments that made your just enough feel overwhelming. Your existence is not a burden. Your voice is not an inconvenience. Your needs do not require an apology. Your healing begins the moment you stop apologizing for being alive and start acknowledging that your life, your presence, your voice, your emotions, they belong here. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who apologizes the way you do. And if you want more psychologically deep breakdowns like this, subscribe not because you need fixing, but because you deserve to feel whole.